Victim blaming. So here in America, we have a big problem with victim blaming. So you might add, what is the definition of victim blaming? Victim blaming is the phenomenon in which a victim of a crime is partially or entirely attributed as responsible for the transgressions committed against them. For instance, a victim of a crime, in this case rape or sexual assault, is asked questions by the police in an emergency room, in a courtroom, that suggests that the victim was doing something or acting a certain way or wearing clothes that may have provoked the perpetrator, therefore making the transgressions against that victim her or his own fault. So let me backtrack on that one. Therefore making the transgressions against the victim her or his own fault. Victim blaming may also occur among a victim's peers, and college students have reported being ostracized if they report a rape against them, particularly if the alleged perpetrator is a popular figure or noted athlete. Also, while there is generally not much general discussion of rape facilitated in the home, school, or government agencies, such as conversations may perpetuate rape culture, okay, by focusing on techniques on how not to get raped, as if it were provoked, versus how not to rape. This is problematic due to the stigma created and transgressed against the already victimized individuals, rather than stigmatizing the aggressive actions of rape and the rapist. It is also commonly viewed that prisoners in prison deserve to be raped and is a reasonable form of punishment for the crimes they committed. Slut shaming is a variant on victim blaming. It has to do with the shaming of sexual behaviors. It describes the way people are made to feel guilty or inferior for certain sexual behaviors or desires that deviate from traditional or orthodox gender expectations. A study of college women from sociologists at University of Michigan and the University of California found that slut shaming had more to do with a woman's social class than with her activity. The slut walk movement aims to challenge victim blaming, slut shaming, and rape culture. So in America, we have types of rape. Even outside America, but here in America, there's date rape, gang rape, spousal rape, rape of children, statutory, prison rape, serial rape, payback rape, and also the different types also include war rape, rape by deception, corrective rape, which has to do with South Africa, and women being raped to be heterosexual if they identify as lesbian and gay. The perpetrator has different types, and it goes on to talk about all of those issues as well. So the issue of victim blaming, okay, is of course, a big issue here in America. And you have these clips of African American women when they begin to talk about income inequality between genders, or if they talk about male and female issues in the black community, they're often told to be quiet and not to speak out on those issues. And it's usually stay in the home, worry about the kids, have the babies, or raise the children, or stay in a woman's place. And so black females tend to go through a lot of bashing. They tend to go through a lot of blame for the failures of others. And sometimes people even go so far to blame them for the reasons why there are problems within the black community, which there are a whole lot of reasons that are happening in black culture that are not the fault of black females. And so there's a lot of stereotypes, and primarily if a black female, she has her hair in a natural style. She's talked about her skin color. She's talked about being an angry black woman. She's talked about whether she's dark or light skinned. She's discriminated against by hair, or what she wears in her hair or doesn't wear in her hair, if it's a weave or if it's natural or if it's in braids. And there are oftentimes people that are outside of the black culture that will pet the hair of African American people as if they're an animal. And so these are stereotypes that are perpetuated throughout other cultures even, and they tend to follow those stereotypes and they believe in it. And sometimes it comes from within the culture. So despite all of the issues that happen in the black community, you do still have thriving, healthy black families. There's been a lot of systematic oppression and racism in history and up to the present that has broken apart black families. Primarily, black males have been gunned down, they've been racial profiled, they've been thrown in prison. Mass incarceration is a big issue in America, and black females are stereotyped by being the single parent, single women, and too masculine. And there's a lot of things that are happening to black males and females in the black culture that cause social divides, that cause sometimes even gender divides, that tend to linger and haunt black males and females. So let's look at black females for a minute here. If you have a strong black male, you'll have strong black females. Strong black males will generate strong females, of course, and that's good. But oftentimes when it's a male that has issues based on the social norms which have been perpetuated in media, and you have a lot of hate groups that hate black culture, black anything, and so they attack black males and they attack also black females. So they deem them as angry black women, or they stereotype their skin color or their hair texture, or say that they're masculine, and a lot of times they will highlight all of the tragedies that have happened in black communities, like black on black crime statistics, and a lot of stuff is hand cherry picked. It's all to fit a persona to demonize black culture and black cultures of people, black males and females and children alike. So it creates divides within the culture that already are persistent. So you have black females who are called angry black women if they speak out on social issues, income equality, and gender issues, anything having to do with being proactive in their community. And so they're silenced, or they're told to be quiet, too vocal, you talk too much, and we don't want you to talk, we want only the males to talk. But right now the issues are Black Lives Matter, and you have a rash of gun violence towards black males in America. And a lot of these people who are committing the murder are law officials, and they're being put on administrative leave, and they say they're going to review or investigate these cases, but they go really either underreported, or there's not enough evidence to prove the people who commit these murders guilty. They have a lot of political people higher up that get them off of their crime committed against black people. So people who are on the outside of black culture, who are not really, they don't read about black culture enough, or they don't know, or they're not even interested because of the stereotypes that have been perpetuated through history and up to now, they tend to also follow those stereotypes, what they see in the media, what they hear in music, or what they've heard on like maybe some racist white media station. And they don't realize that there are stereotypes about their culture as well. And you'll have certain black males that maybe they've had some failures in their life, so maybe they listen to the stereotypes and feed into the nonsense, and then they think that going to another culture is better, when you find in other cultures they have their own issues and their problems as well, and they're not perfect. And so you have other cultures who have single women who have kids out of wedlock. They may have a display of what they call ghetto ratchetness, or you have white women or Hispanic women who are, having babies out of wedlock, or they're having babies with gangbangers, or they're having babies with maybe certain males who they've ditched their own culture, and they say, oh, okay, I don't like this woman, because they feed into those stereotypes that are being spewed online and on social media, which are racial, or they're demonizing a particular group. Yes, while there are a lot of problems in the black culture, there are a lot of problems in other cultures as well. So it's not to just focus on one culture alone to say that this one culture is inferior and they have all these problems, which is untrue. People are people, and people will have problems, even in the white culture. And see, you never see enough of this going on, where white people have crimes, white people commit crime against other white people have women who are single and they have babies out of wedlock, and then they have white people who have tragedies. They may not necessarily come from a poor background, they could come from a wealthy background, but they still, they smoke while they're pregnant, they got tattoos everywhere, they listen to rap music, they believe the hype, they believe the stereotypes, and they follow suit. So it can happen in other cultures as well. So it's not just in one or two particular groups. And it depends on your upbringing, or what your mindset is. Each individual, case by case. So when black women decide that they're going to marry outside of their race, and they marry a white man, they're called bed wenches or hoes, or they're called the B word, which is bitch, and they're called names, or they're demonized and stereotyped for that. And then white women sometimes will pick up some of these males who have stereotyped their own culture, or they demonize their own culture, will go to another culture of white women, and these white women are unaware, some of them are, that if he's not with you because he really genuinely wants to have a relationship that's healthy, if he's with you for these stereotypes and all this hype, beware of that, because chances are he's not going to be good for any woman at all if he's a part of this hate culture, or this rape culture, or this victim blaming culture. So you have women who are, independent, and they get demonized, and it could be from any culture, and they could be from any background or race, or religion. And if they decide to choose to become independent and be involved in school, involved in getting a career, or doing better in their life, sometimes they are stereotyped or demonized as being too masculine, or too militant, or too pro independent, and pro woman, and womanist, and feminist, and all this, and they get demonized for that. And sometimes other women will demonize women who have lots of independence, and they don't have like a male figure, or so to speak, they would assume a male figure around. But remember, women have brothers, cousins, uncles, and whatnot. So this drives people crazy. These issues that swirl around with divide between genders sometimes. A lot of this is perpetuated by people who have problems within their own self. And you have women who are demonized. It could be a race, it could be just being a woman, and it's hard enough having to go through life dealing with that. And so if you got this rape culture in America, and you have women who have decided to, be more independent and try to focus on their studies and try to do better in life and try to maintain a job and security, retirement maybe, they have some positive goals. Sometimes there's stigmatized for that. And you have all of these riots. You have peaceful protesters that are protesting about some of the social issues that go on in America, and they protest rightfully and it's justified. But you have pockets of little individuals who they just want to get out there. They don't care about the peaceful protests. They just want to get out there and incite riots. So you don't know who all's coming out there to these protests. There is a lot of anger. There's a lot of brokenness, a lot of pain in a lot of different communities. And with black males, if you have individuals who aren't rational, who aren't trying to do anything peaceful, and they just want to spew a lot of anger and a lot of frustration and violence, a lot of this can come about just the idea of being demonized for your race. A lot of this can come from all of the boiling up of all of the hatred that's been thrown or thrust upon you as a culture. So protests can quickly spin out of control when you have those hot button topics that come up with some of the divide here in American culture. So there is issues of women that are living in a silent war of domestic abuse in their homes, and that's not just in the black community. That can be in other situations, other communities, and other nationalities that can go on. And it is a silent cry for help when you hear women talking about their experiences, but you often hear some of those males that have the characteristics when they can get a post or a ghost account. Sometimes they incite war online. So there's war online where they incite violence to divide people of different races, different cultures, backgrounds, religions, to create that climate of fear and anger and frustration and violence and war. And war can be within your own culture, or it can be outside of your culture. It can be from different countries where it's acceptable to be violent to women. And so you all have a lot of this going on. Sometimes some people come from other places. Here in America, there's a lot of people that come from other countries. They have religions they follow, and a lot of this is accepted. And we have the issue in South Africa of corrective rape. And so corrective rape involves rape that is targeted against non-heterosexuals as a punishment for violating gender roles. And so that's a big issue as well. And it is a form of hate against LGBT individuals, mainly lesbians, in which the rapist justifies the act as an acceptable response to the victim's perceived sexual or gender orientation and a form of punishment for being gay or lesbian. Often, the stated argument of corrective rapists is that the rape will turn the person straight, correcting their sex or gender, in example, making them conform to societal norms. So it goes on to talk more about that. Also, people will use the Bible as misogynistic validation as to why they want women to be quiet and they want you to be silent. You're only good for one thing, or you should stay in a woman's place. There's lots of different sayings as well. And so silence is acceptance of hate, and if you speak loudly, then your voice is heard. So if you ever heard the squeaky wheel gets the grease. So you have all forms of rape culture, as was stated. And so in the black culture, there's also silent war with abuse in relationships. And so you have famous people who are black that struggle with domestic abuse. actor Michael Jace, who played a police officer on the hit FX drama The Shield, was convicted Tuesday of shooting his wife at their Los Angeles home in front of the couple's two young sons. A jury of six women and 6 men deliberated about 2 hours before finding Jace, of 53 years of age, guilty of second-degree murder in the May 19, 2014 death of April Jace, according to the Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office. Jurors also found true the special allegation that Jace used a firearm. Jace faces up to 40 years to life in prison at his sentencing, scheduled June 10. The actor was upset that his wife wanted a divorce and was obsessed with the belief that she was seeing someone else. Deputy District Attorney Tenez Monkeif told jurors during the trial. When April Jace arrived around 8 at night, the couple's house of Hyde Park neighborhood, he shot her once in the back, the prosecutor said. They say that Jace then shot her 2 more times in her legs. Now, this was in front of her 2 sons, her 2 young sons, one of whom was 5 years old and the other was 8. The actor called 911 about 8:30 p.m., told the operator that he had shot his wife, according to evidence presented at the trial. Her body was found inside the couple's home along those 2 boys, unharmed. The Shield offered the biggest role in Jace's 22-year acting career. He appeared in 89 episodes as Julian Lowe, who started as a rookie officer in an inner-city Los Angeles police precinct and was promoted to a detective before the series ended in 2008. Jace also acted on several episodes of Southland, another TV drama about Los Angeles police between 2009 and 2012. He played an NBA star, Michael Jordan, in the 1999 TV movie Michael Jordan, An American Hero, and appeared in several movies, including Forrest Gump, in which he played a Black Panther member. He married April Jace of June 2003, a year after divorcing his first wife, with whom he shared a son. The actor appeared to be under severe financial strain in the years before his 2014 arrest, according to the court documents obtained by CNN. Jace filed for a Chapter 13 bankruptcy in March 2011, citing $500,000 in debt and an annual income around $80,000 from residuals from his TV and film work, documents said. Jace had defaulted on the $411,000 mortgage on the home from where his wife, with whom he shared a son, from where his wife died, according to the documents. Excuse me. He remained in custody since his arrest. In the year before her death, April Jace worked as a financial aid counselor at Biola University, a private school in La Mirada, California, according to the school. So let me backtrack, because I said a little mistake here. The actor appeared to be under severe financial strain, so that could have contributed to why he was feeling very angry and enraged. That created a lot of stress. So you have a lot of issues with income problems, and people have their own problems, their personal issues. So it says he filed a Chapter 13 bankruptcy in March 2011, citing $500,000 in debt and an annual income around $80,000 from residuals from his TV and film work, documents said. Jace defaulted on the $411,000 mortgage on the home where his wife died, according to the documents. So I'm just backtracking here. So this is an unfortunate situation. They happen to be famous and a couple, and they're black, and now those two black boys, they're much older now. Jace and his wife is not going to be there, so there's no mother for them. Probably family members are there for them for sure, but now their father is not even there for them because of the murder of the mother. And in front of the kids, what do you think that's going to happen to those two boys, those two black boys that saw their mother being gunned down by their father in the home? What do you think is going to happen to them when they grow up, and how they're going to view women, how they're going to treat women? So you have certain guys that are on these they're on social media, and they're promoting this rape and hate culture towards black females. Yes, there has been a lot of racial stereotypes, a lot of racial divide, a lot of racial hate towards black culture. And a lot of times they want you to focus on what has happened to the black culture as a whole, where there's silent wars, little silent wars that are going on within black culture that they don't highlight enough of, in specific domestic abuse and hate of black females from certain black males. It's not all black males, but you got a select group that are like that. So you have a silent cry of black females who are silently crying for help from all of the hate that's being dealt to not only the culture but also to the males, and that is being inflicted upon them, and even being blamed as to why the black culture has befallen from all of this. And so you have certain individuals who have a very mean-spirited mentality. They're very hateful, and they refer to women as the bitches and hoes. And a lot of that comes from that rape culture and mentality. And so it's been perpetuated for many years. So these are some of the reasons why people will blame women as to why, or validate why they have been raped. Wearing short skirts, flirting, or the person will say, oh, I had too much to drink, or she had too much to drink. It was mutual when it really wasn't mutual. Victims never cause rape, is what, So, there are some silent protests, or there's some loud protests, but a lot of those protests are not seen enough, not exhibited enough, and rape culture happens within other racial groups, and a lot of that is always the woman is told to be quiet. Don't tell me how to dress, tell them not to rape. So a lot of times they'll blame the woman just for how she dresses or how she looks, or she was asking for it. And so you have clips that you're going to see of women who either they have fallen victim to domestic abuse or some form of rape or some form of torture, and they could be women of color, women of other religions, nationalities, and backgrounds who have fallen victim to some abuse of some type. And it could be anywhere in those categories listed. And a lot of times abuse will happen in many cultures, and it's not looked at enough. And so the types, again, are date rape, gang rape, spousal rape, rape of children, statutory, prison rape, serial rape, payback rape, war rape, rape by deception, corrective rape, custodial rape. And so there's different types of perpetrators. And so as time has gone on, you'll hear there's lots of issues that happen even in other countries. And America tends to have lots of different people from different backgrounds and walks of life that will come here and reside in America. Okay? And so you have lots of people who have had experiences, and they might have had their experiences in other countries. And if they're coming here to the States, those issues are not highlighted enough, or they're silent about it, or we don't know, we're unaware as Americans that other countries have their issues involving rape. in particular, rape of boys in Pakistan. There's rape of boys in Islamic Republic of Pakistan. Okay, sex in Pakistan, a hidden shame. It's on National Geographic documentary, dated July 19th, 2015. So if you just put in your search engine, Google, and you Google rape of boys in Pakistan, you'll find many different articles, documentaries having to do with boys that have been also raped or befallen victim to rape as well. So these issues are very real. These issues are very prevalent, and they aren't highlighted enough. And so you see here women who have fallen victim to some form of abuse, and a lot of times women will hide, with makeup, or they'll not come out for a while, or they will wear shades to hide their scars from abuse. But there's silent cries. There's hints, maybe sometimes withdrawing themselves, and a lot of times their victimizer will try to distance them from family members and friends to keep them from telling or exposing what is really going on in their relationships. And so, while this is also happening in other cultures, the black culture also suffers from the silent cries of black females who have befallen to domestic abuse. And so oftentimes black females are stereotyped with outside of the race by other cultures, and stereotyped also within their own culture by black males, or certain black males who have this hate culture that they're spewing online. So there's victim blaming. It occurs again, like what I was stated, occurs when the victim of a crime or any wrongful act are held entirely or partially responsible for the transgressions committed against them. So women can get their legs broken, they can get their jaw broken, they can have their kids hurt, beaten up, raped, such as they are. They can be raped by their husbands, boyfriends, lovers. They can also be raped in relationships that are alternatives, like maybe it's just a boyfriend, maybe it's just cohabitating, you're together. And even famous people have issues with violence in relationships. Michelle was R&B pop songstress in the 90s, and I believe it might have been the early 90s that she was most widely known in the music world industry, and she did a movie recently talking about surviving Compton, and it was about domestic abuse in her life, and she had talked about Suge Knight, which you just seen. And so in music culture, in the black culture, they glorify drugs, guns, violence, and that has to do with certain individuals who marketed off of that. And a lot of times those things have helped to destroy the black community as well, and it's not talked about enough. Well, now it is getting some notoriety. And you have males who maybe they have lost their jobs, or they've been discriminated against, or maybe they went to war at one point in their life. They come back, they're not treated the same way as other war vets because of race and certain other issues. And there's substance abuse issues that have gone on in black communities that have really decimated black communities and caused for a lot of economic and social divides. There's also prison, the mass incarceration of black males, which goes on to bring about the whole issue behind black females who are primarily the household income earners, and they're single. And so a lot of times you'll have like commentators like on Fox and news places that are like, they claim they're progressive, but they're more for like a white upper class to stigmatize black culture and black people. So you have childhood abuse, prison rape, domestic abuse, incest, trouble about sexual preference. So these are the questions that people should ask themselves. Why are these people having these issues? what is the backstory first before prejudging black females, black males. What has led them or put them in their state? Which, if it's a negative, why? Some of it could be racial, some of it could be hate crime, some of it could have been where the black male was accused of a crime he didn't commit, but they are a petty crime and he was given long sentences, so now he's incarcerated. So what does that do? It takes him out of the home, so which you have that problem of black females who are single, and then you have males who are told you have to be strong, you have to be the breadwinner, you have to be strong, you can't cry, you can't show emotion. So just because I'm a male doesn't mean that she can't hurt me too. He could have come from a relationship that where there was abuse. Or let's go a little further. Maybe his abuse happened earlier on in his life when he was a child. So there's all, like I said, types of abuse going on that also involve rape. When I mentioned earlier that there was rape of boys in Pakistan. And so childhood abuse is an issue. So these children, like when I was reading about the Michael Jace situation, they saw their mother being gunned down by their father. So what lasting memories is that going to give these black boys when they grow up of how to treat women, how to handle your anger, how to speak rational, how to rationalize some of the trauma and emotional abuse that they've suffered? What happened that led up to the shooting? What was it like living in that household? On the outside, they look like a happy couple, but on the inside of that house, behind closed doors, it was probably chaotic. And the boys were a witness to all of this. 1 5, 1 8 years old, they're going to grow up. What do you think they're going to do, and how they're going to treat women, and how they're going to view women? So some of this stuff starts within the home and parenting, and what they're showing their kids and exposing their kids to. And so these boys are going to grow up, and they're probably going to be your future antagonists who are going to get online and spew all this hate about black females and how they hate black females and how they destroyed the black culture, because they grew up in a home where there was violence, or they grew up in a home where maybe this black female, maybe she was on drugs, so she's raising the kid. You have issues where black females are substance abusers, certain ones who have kind of let themselves go and they don't take care of their kids and they abuse the kids. And you have that outside of the black culture as well, where there's abusive home life. The father is raping the children and beating the children, or the mother, she might be abusive. And it could be different forms of abuse. It doesn't have to be physical. It could be emotional. It could be mental. It could be not feeding the kids. And so those kids in the first 5 years, they're getting all of this, and then they grow up, and what do you think is going to happen to them? Some of them will end up in jail, because that's the road they're headed on, because that's what they've got to go on. It's what they've seen. And it could be generations of abuse going on. So if you're raised by somebody that's been abused, then chances are he's abusing his children. So physical violence and sexual violence. Okay, so you have power and control in the middle here. Using economic abuse, using coercion and threats, using intimidation, using emotional abuse, using isolation, minimizing and denying blaming, using children as pawns, using male privilege. So there's lots of different areas in this wheel here of abuse and violence, sexual violence, and it can happen with males and females. And sometimes it can happen earlier on in the childhood years, and that shape the thinking and the mindset of these individuals. And so that's where you get all of these people online who say all these things, but they don't have anything or course of why they're saying it. It's more to just demonize individuals. And you don't know where this is coming from. It just sounds like it just comes off as hate rant after hate rant. Black women did this, and and sometimes people are hurting because they might have had some bad experiences, and they're venting. And it's okay to vent, but when you vent to the point to where it demonizes people to make it look like they're the only ones that are creating the problem, then there might be some more underlying issues here, while as a lot of this has been happening in black community, where you have males that have went through a lot of traumatic experiences. And if you're a man and you can't provide for your family and you're being harassed, you're being shot and gunned down, you reach for your ID and your wallet, but they said you were reaching for a weapon, and here you are, you're not even trying to hurt anybody, you work a regular job, you're not a person that's gone to jail or prison, but you're always viewed as a suspect. You're told not to cry, not to have emotion, just to be strong and lead the household. You're thrown in prison by no fault of your own. And, you get this time and time again. What is a person supposed to do, and how do you expect them to react from that? Nobody's going to be whistling Dixie tunes and they're going to be jumping around and saying, "Ooh, hallelujah," and all this kind of stuff with this type of violence going on. So you are going to have some high emotions and some anger, and people that want to lash out because they're tired of being abused. They're tired of being hurt, victimized by people who focus on, "Oh, he's black, he must be a bad guy, so we have to get that criminal." So a lot of times that is also spewed on social media and perpetuated even in high news, where you have CNN and other places where they will criminalize black males based on what one black or two black males have committed, which you should look at those issues, but where is it coming from? So that one thing with Michael J's, he had financial problems, but we don't know, maybe his home life wasn't all that, So there could have been some other issues that led up to him being obsessive about his wife. Felt the need that he had to control her, dominate her, and some of that too within culture norms is, wanting men to always have that emasculating persona, and maybe all men are not like that. You do have gay and bisexual and lesbian and gay people and communities. And so how do they fall into this situation? So you have Trump and Pence. And so the reason why I'm bringing Trump and Pence into this, he advocated for conversion therapy. And so there was that whole issue behind Pence advocating for conversion therapy. And there was a lot of talk about that and taxpayer dollars that was used for this. But you have problems with STD, HIV, and AIDS. So the big fight was that he used money that could have been for AIDS research, but he used it for conversion therapy. And what conversion therapy is people who want to make gay people, lesbian people, or bisexual people straight. And come on, guys, we know those things have not worked for everyone in that sense of the word. And if you're gay, you're gay. If you're straight, you're straight. Okay? If you're lesbian, you're lesbian. You're straight, you're straight. So I know that's a whole nother fight, a whole nother issue, but it has been prevalent and it has been a widespread issue in America. It's been one of the leading hot button topics is trying to change people's sexual identity. And so if you read more about the whole Pence and some of his policies and his beliefs and background, it can be rather disturbing, especially when we have issues of you throwing all these men in prison, all this time they've been in prison. What's going to happen to those men when they get out with their wives, their girlfriends, and they've been exposed in prison to this rape? Because, like I said previously, rape is a way to punish prisoners for the crimes that they've committed, which is unfair, right? But here you have these males who maybe they're not gay, but they've been abused in prison. They get out and they have now HIV, they have AIDS. And so now you have a whole nother new issue. You have the Hispanic community, the black community, where they're going home to their wives and girlfriends and they are exposing them also to this deadly disease, which some people will say, oh, they got a cure for it. They don't have a cure for it. They have medicines you can take, but from what I've heard some people say on statements of how they've been afflicted with HIV or AIDS, or they tried to prevent AIDS by taking medication. That doesn't mean that they can't get it or befall to it. So here you see, we just need to help stop abuse of all kinds. So a lot of people are hurting in America, and there's abuse of all kinds on both sides and in a lot of different cultures. So we need to ask ourselves those questions, talk about those issues rather than belittling one another and blaming and victim blaming each other for why these tragedies happen here in America.